No, it's Thankful Thursdays. I'm sorry I'm late, y'all. But you know what? The allergies tried to take over me. I don't know anybody else out there that got allergies, but when I tell y'all, allergies is the devil. But if you checking in, it's your girl Jaja. You tuning in, you listening to I Said It, and before I take it back, I'm gonna add more to it. It's a beautiful day outside. Enjoy it, because you already know we got some days. It's gonna be full of rain. I love those days because it lets me know that there's a refreshing coming. There's a cleansing coming, and then there's a renewing coming. So if you're tuning in, you're listening to I Said It, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. And I know you heard me the first time. Listen, I'm talking all about who taught you that? We just recently experienced a horrific crime against people that look like you and I. And it makes me not just sad, but it makes me angry at the targets that we are under. And it's not just in New York. It's not just in other countries. It's right in our own communities, right in our own families, right in our own cities, right in our own towns. And if you're tuning in, you're listening to I Said It, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. One of the things that I do know is that if we don't stick together, baby, because they sticking together. And one of the reasons why I know that they're sticking together is this young man didn't teach himself these things. And I think about, before I dive into any of that, I want to have a moment of silence for those victims who were murdered. And the reason why I wanted to take time out to do a moment of silence for them is because sometimes we have to quiet ourselves to pay attention to what's happening in our world and what's happening around us. And if you're tuning in and listening to I Said It, y'all already know, before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. Sometimes we get caught up in our own worlds and we don't think about all of the things that are happening around us. And believe it or not, there are some detrimental things that are being taught to the next generation, and they're being taught to them on purpose. And the thing about it is growing up, y'all already know I'm from Joy Road, 7 Mile, Detroit. I went to McFarland Elementary School off Joy Road in Cheyenne. I went to Cordis Elementary School off 96 in the Jeffries Freeway by Ewald Circle. I went to Charles R. Drew Middle School on Chicago and Wyoming. And then I went to Murray Wright off of West Warren. And then I went over to Mackenzie High School off of Chicago and Wyoming. So I'm a DPS, product of DPS, okay? And what I know is that chaos, division, racism is big business. And I don't care who said, if I said or anybody else said, racism, division is big business. I'm going to tell you why. Because if I can get you all to not like this person, to not like this person, to not like that, guess what I can do now? I can control how you move. I can control what you like and what you don't like. And this is one of the reasons why I work so hard to be a part of media, because media, it directs the trajectory of our lives. Right now, not only are we dealing with a murderer that was taken out so lovingly, but we're also being attacked with our health. We're also being attacked with our food. We're also being attacked in our spiritual, in our mental mindsets. Because if you think about it, right, you going on about your day, living your best life, or at least trying to, and then next thing you know, you looking on the TV talking about monkeypox. Then you look on the TV, you talking about somebody that murdered some people at the grocery store. And this is the thing that I tell people all the time. You don't know how life is going to go. I'm sure that every last one of those individuals that decided to go to the grocery store never thought in a million gazillion years, when I go in here to get whatever I'm going to get, that I'm going to be able to leave back out. And see, this is one of the reasons why We can't keep copying off other people and what they're doing. We got to make sure that we're doing what God called us to do. See, it's easy to look at somebody else and say, oh, they got a podcast. Let me do a podcast. But if that's not what God called you to do, and you just see that that's something that people should be doing, now you are off. You're off. And see, a lot of you don't believe that you are listening to a lot of off spirits. I'm going to tell you something. I'm a leader of leaders. I always have been. I've always been a leader that other leaders looked up to, whether they want to tell me they look up to me or not, whether they want to tell me I influence them or not. I know I do. And so because of that, you got to understand how oppression works. Oppression is caused and utilized so that you don't reach your fullest potential. But this is the thing. We can't oppress each other if we're already being oppressed by other people. This is what you can't do. And see, this is one of the reasons why I look at people and I say, whose side are you on? Who do you work for? Because at the end of the day, I look at my Black brothers and sisters and I think to myself, you don't do nothing but help the white man and the white woman to come against us. See, if they figure I can poison you, I can separate you, I can cause confusion in your community, I can cause you all to not want to go off and live out your best dreams. I can suppress you. I know I wasn't the only person that got depressed. We're looking at these seasoned saints, men and women that look like you and me, being murdered at the grocery store by an 18-year-old man. And this is real. It's real easy how the media can play the game. In one instance, you got a young man that was 17 years old being charged for malicious attacks, and he's Black, and he's been known as a man. And then you get this young man, and they say he's a teen. Let me tell y'all something. Who's your teacher? Who taught you that? Because I'm going to tell you something. Racism is not something that we're born with. Racism is taught. Systematic racism is enforced. See, this is the thing. Excuse me. This is the thing. You don't teach somebody. You teach people how to treat people. You teach people how to treat you. That is a taught mannerism. Your mother, right? What did your mother teach you? Say thank you after somebody give you something. What did your mama and daddy teach you? Hopefully they taught you something. Yeah, I said it, and before I take it back, I'm ammo too. Hopefully they taught you something. Or maybe it was your grandma who taught you something. Told you say, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. That's what I grew up on. I don't know how y'all grew up, but I grew up where my mama was like, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. A child stay in a child's place. When grown folks is talking, you going on outside and play. See, some of y'all got your kids sitting at the table while y'all talking about grown-up business, and then you want to know why your daughter and your son out here thinking they grown, doing what you doing. Baby, it's because what are we teaching our kids? That white boy that shot them people, that drove 200 miles to a whole nother area, a whole nother jurisdiction, a whole nother district, a whole nother area, guess what? He was taught these things. And whether it was by his mama, whether it was by his daddy, great-grandma, grandma, whoever, it could have been YouTube. He could have Googled. And see, this is the thing. White people will protect their own before we will protect each other. How many Black judges we got? How many Black prosecuting attorneys and Black defense attorneys that could protect each other? But guess what? They just give our people away. We don't fight for our people. These white folks is trying to make this boy to be mentally ill. And he just killed all these people that look like you and me. And here it is. We got judges. We got prosecuting attorneys. Y'all see what they doing over in Georgia. They are not giving us any leeway. This man was able to murder people, men and women, and walk out in handcuffs. And then here it is, another young man that just got 113 years, a life sentence for selling fentanyl and the young white boy, he died. Now, how many of our ancestors, aunties, cousins, died, overdosed off crack, cocaine? I ain't never known none of them drug dealers to go to prison. You know why? Because they will fight for their people. And if we are not careful, we will watch our communities, our families disappear. See, these things that are happening in our community and in our families and in our world right now is on purpose. The attack on our babies. How is it all of a sudden y'all don't know that the baby formula ain't no good? They been knew the baby formula wasn't no good. Now, I ain't a rocket scientist to know, and I ain't had no baby in 18, almost 19 years. But what I do know is one thing's for sure, two things for certain. You don't wait until the expiration date to know that it's about to expire. Anybody who knows about anything as it relates to something you got to eat, you're going to look at those expiration dates. You're going to look at the manufacturing process to get certain things done. They've been giving our babies messed up food. If they giving it to adults, how many times have Gerber had recalls on baby food? How many times had Similac been recalled? A few times. Okay? And see, this is why working together should be a priority before it becomes a reality. It shouldn't take a shortage of baby milk for us to work together for our babies. We should be doing this already. But see, this is what happens when we don't own things and we don't control things that we need. Anybody else starting a baby bank? Baby formula? Now we gotta keep in mind, right? Okay. So now that we know that corporations are okay with killing our babies, right? Now we know, okay, we need to create programs to protect the next generation. Because guess what? They don't care. You have two categories of people, right? The wealthy and the poor. Now, you may not fall into upper echelon poor. You may fall in middle poor. You may fall in low poor. I don't really know where you fall into it. But what I do know is that the attacks that we are receiving, who taught them that? This is generation after generation of generational blessings and poverty and curses and things that are going to cause us to not propel into our fullest potential. A mother can't focus on her dream if she got to figure out how she going to feed her baby. A father can't focus on his business and his brand if now his grandma just got shot at the grocery store. These are rippling effects that they know cause us trauma. So guess what we do when we have trauma? We go smoke more. We go drink more. We go have more illicit sex. We act out our trauma. We don't dive in to attack what's happening within us. And see, this is one of the reasons why you got to understand who taught you what. See, as a mom, I understood a long time ago how racism was big business. Because at the end of the day, everything has value. And racism does too. The prison system, very valuable. You know, unfortunately, I've been a prison kid for a long time. My dad went to prison, and I used to have to go take these long trips out 96, out 94, upper Michigan, upper peninsula. My grandma lives, my mom. And at the end of the day, what I recognize on those prison trips, I would see keep out niggers on the signs, on the trees. They would have, this is right here in Michigan. Right here in Michigan. We would be driving on the highway, and it would say, you know, the you know them three letters, boop, boop, boop. they would have ropes hanging from the tree. This us going to go see our families that are in prison. And I know if we saw it growing up, I know some of y'all saw it. And see, at the end of the day, Michigan is the headquarters. Michigan is the headquarters. Holland, Michigan is the headquarters for those 3 letters right here in the state of Michigan. And see, the thing about it is what you all don't realize is that what happened in Buffalo, New York, can happen right here in Michigan. Now, I don't think anybody got any balls enough to try it because they know what type of tip Detroit is on, and they know we clap back. But dig this. There's always going to be somebody that thinks that they can pull it off. If they literally planned to storm the Capitol, they also planned to kidnap our own governor. What else are they willing to plan? What else are they willing to do? And this is why we got to stay on our P's and Q's within our families. I encourage you, if you're tuning in and listening to I said it, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. I'm talking all about who taught you this. I encourage every person under the sound of my voice, make sure y'all share this video because it's going to save some families' lives. Make sure y'all share this video. Listen, I don't care if you like me, you don't like me, I don't really care, but share this video because the information I'm getting ready to tell you, we all going to need it. I encourage you all to have a real ninja conversation with your family about your exit strategies, about your emergency contacts, about where y'all would meet up in case of an emergency, having food in your basement, in your storage that you are putting aside. And I'm not telling you this because I'm saying something gonna happen, but I am telling you this because as you can see, stuff just keep happening. It has been non-stop stuff. And every time we thought we were catching a break, guess what happened? Boom, here comes something else. So this is one of the things that you got to do. You got to understand the difference between quality and value and things that don't mean us no good. I get it. We all want the name brand. We want to live the best life. But if you spending $1,000 on a Gucci purse or a Louis Vuitton belt and you ain't got no emergency fund, your priorities is messed up. If you're finding more time and more energy to spend more money to hang out, but your bills ain't together, your priorities is messed up. I get it, right? We all want to have fun. We all want to go do our thing. We all want to go live our best life. But at the end of the day, right? At the end of the day, if we don't put more value and quality on the lives of each other, what will happen is we'll keep losing people and it'll just roll off our backs. We won't share the same love and adoration for the value of people like we once did. And see, this is the thing. That negative behavior, racism, haughtiness, jealousy, envy, those are emotions that are triggered. Those are reaction motives. Those are things that people teach you in order for you to become triggered. Let me tell you something. I know racism is taught because how many white folks you know that do like black people, that do stand up on behalf of us, who do make that necessary change and speak up on the necessary changes that are made in front of the camera and behind the scenes. Because it's easy for us to say, you know, Black Lives Matter and power to the people, right? When the cameras is on. It's how we are treated when the cameras are off, which is the most important. And see, this is the thing. We can pray all day long, and I am all for prayer, right? And if you're tuning in, you're listening to I said it, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. I am all about the power of prayer. I believe in the power of prayer. But I also believe that God has given us power, okay, to empower each other, as well as utilize our common sense to start utilizing our Black dollar to benefit our Black families. We are going to suffer And we are going to keep getting murdered. We're going to keep getting killed. We're going to keep dealing with systematic racism until we recognize I don't need to spend no money at 12 Oaks Mall if it's not with a Black-owned business. I don't need to go out to Somerset unless I'm going to shop at a Black-owned business. I don't need to go buy a car unless I'm going to a Black-owned dealership. I don't need to go get no clothes unless I'm getting clothes from a Black-owned business boutique. I don't want to go get my car wash at the car wash place that's owned by Chaldeans. I'm going to the Black-owned car wash. I can't go get my liquor no more from the liquor store people. I got to go to find a Black-owned liquor store. It's one on Gratiot. Liquor Basket on Gratiot. It's right by Fago and Better Made. Let me tell you something. The only way we win the war on racism is if we win the war on money. The only way that we win, the only way we can protect ourselves is if we start being intentional about where we spend our money. Let me tell you something. Martin Luther King's speeches were amazing. They were phenomenal. They penetrated the heart. They made us feel some type of way. But let me tell you something. It wasn't until we started emphasizing that black dollar is when Martin Luther King's words started having power. It wasn't until we shut down the Montgomery bus boycott is when they started having more respect for us Negroes. See, it's not enough for you to sit up here and say, Black Lives Matter, power to the people. I'm outraged. I'm upset. No, you have to be intentional about being Black. You got to be intentional. You can't go to the white man when you got somebody Black right over here to do the same thing. And let me put this in your spirit right here, right quick. You can't say that you do this, and when the Black people come looking for you, you ain't on your P's and Q's. Yeah, I said it. And before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. You can't say, ain't nobody supporting my Black-owned business, but then your Black-owned business ain't right. They calling you, you talking about, hello? Is this a business? Or is this a homegirl? Hello? You answering your cell phone like it's your house phone. If you're going to use your cell phone as your business phone, the least you can do is say good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How can I assist you today? Some of you want the support as a Black-owned business, but you ain't got your sugar, honey, iced tea together as a Black-owned business. I know this because I'm tightening up some things on my Black-owned business. Because you got to be taken serious. And the only way that you can be taken serious is if you got all your ducks in a row and you taking care of your business. You can't be a half-ass business and then you want people to be fully supportive of you. That ain't how that go. And the only way that we will win the war on racism is if we win the war on that money. They shut down the buses. And how they shut down the buses is they walked. They called rides. They weren't looking at each other like, you got to get in my car. We got to walk again. You don't think them Black folks was tired? They ain't had the shoes that we got now that is comfortable. They got good laces. They didn't have the same soles on the shoes that we have right now. But you know what they had? They had heart. They had courage. Some of y'all lazy. You ain't got no courage. You don't even want to walk to the corner and back home. Ain't nobody walking out. It's too hot. These people walked across bridges. Alabama is hot. My son is at Alabama A&M right now. Well, not right now, but he's a student there. And at the end of the day, these people, our ancestors, they had enough courage not just to pray and shama lama lama. Okay? Yeah, I said it, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. They put their money where their mouth was, and they spent with Black. We got too many Black-owned churches. Every Black church should be only buying Black. Every preacher should be on the pulpit saying Black business only. Yeah, I said it. I don't care if you're Muslim. I don't care if you're Buddhist. If it's Black-owned, it should be Black-owned only across the pulpit. Yeah, I said it. But I'm going to tell you why they can't say that. Because there's too many people in too many pockets. You got the Chaldeans in the Black people pockets. You got the white folks in the Chaldean pockets. It's too many people in too many pockets. And so you can't stand up for your people because you done traded on us with the other people. I look at our leadership and I think to myself, how you just gonna trade on us like this? Like all it took was for them to give you a check. That's why when I run, the next time that I run for office, I want to make my own money. Because guess what? When you get people to start donating to your campaign and donating to your cause, guess what? They think they can play you like a little puppet. And guess what you're going to have to do? You're going to have to play. You're going to have to pay to play. And see, that's why a lot of our politicians get caught up in the fugazi. You know why? Because they want to pay and play. You can't do both. You can't say, I'm for the people, but then you okay with the other people scratching your back. Which one is it? Are we going to be fully black and support black? Or we're going to keep trading out on our own people? Because you can't do both. And see, a lot of you, yeah, I said it before I take it back. I'm mad too, because y'all ain't got a heaven and hell to put me in. And somebody needs to say it, because clearly ain't none of y'all saying it. This is the thing. Nothing happens until things get shaken up. Things get shaken up when stuff happens. See, a lot of y'all ain't mad enough. Y'all sat there with your hands in your lap. You sat there upset. And this is an outrage. I can't believe this is happening. But what is it? What is it? Do it take? It gotta happen to us at Greek Town? What is it gonna take for you all to recognize our own power? We got the power. We got the power. We've had it all along. It's the ignorance. It's the copycat syndrome. It's the I think I'm better than somebody else. It's the I can't share somebody else's information because I don't want them to be ahead of me. Foolishness. Foolishness. Some of you all don't even realize Martin Luther King and Malcolm X worked together. But the picture that the media and the white folks tried to get us to believe is that they were against each other. They weren't against each other. They were saying the same thing. Black economic empowerment. If we don't stop spending our money with these other people, we are going to lose. And they are going to keep killing us. I ain't doing no more marches. I ain't shouting Black Lives Matter no more. What I'm doing is I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. I've been looking for me a black-owned nail shop that's going to keep my nails on. So if y'all know a sister that can keep my nails on and they ain't going to fall off, if y'all know a sister, because see, this is where the game changes. The game starts changing when we start being intentional about where we spend our money and our time. I ain't going out to Ferndale to go eat. I ain't going out to Royal Oak to go eat unless I'm going to eat at Imaginate. Imaginate is a black-owned restaurant, 5-star. I ain't going out to no other restaurants that ain't black-owned if I don't have to. Then we got black-owned Coney Islands. And then this is the thing too. If somebody is complaining about your service, black-owned businesses, you don't get to clap back. What's wrong with y'all? You over here trying to clap back at a customer, a consumer that's trying to support your black ass? Yeah, I said it, and before I take it back, I'm gonna add more to it. Yo, you gonna get an attitude because somebody told you that the food was cold. Okay? Give them some warm food. I don't understand what the problem is. See, some of y'all want to own black-owned businesses, but you don't want nobody to say nothing to your black behind. This is not how this is supposed to go. Because at the end of the day, if we are all 9 times out of 10 have the same desire, we want to raise our children in a great neighborhood. We want to have some type of economic empowerment. We want to be in love and have families. We want to enjoy our lives to the fullest. But in order for us to do that, you're going to have to make some sacrifices. And see, some of you all are not willing to make the sacrifice. You're not willing to go on Davidson and Linwood to the mobile gas station because it's black owned. You're not willing to drive to to 6 Mile and hubble to the Valero to get some gas because it's black owned. You rather just go right on up the street because it's right on up the street. See, you got to be intentional. You got to be intentional. And it's too many of us. It's too many of us that's smoking weed but going to prison for it. How you on city council and you done gave all the certificates away to Chaldeans and white people? This is why you got to say what needs to be said. There's no reason that we have predominantly black council members that we've had over the years, but yet we've allowed the white people to take over the city. You know why we allowed the white man to take over the city? Because y'all put more trust and more emphasis in a white person to get the job done than black people. And it wasn't that the black people couldn't get the job done. We got to stop thinking about self. If you're going to steal from your own city, at least make sure everything that the city need, get what they need first. Before you start pocketing money, make sure that everything is what we need first. And if you're tuning in, you're listening to I Said It, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. Because at the end of the day, our black dollar equals our black power. There is no other way. I don't care what you say. And the thing about it is when you come against people like Kevin Samuels, who says things that trigger us. Well, these are the things that trigger us that we don't move on. Everybody and their mama was upset at Kevin Samuels because he said that if you throw over 35 and this, that, and the third. Well, guess what? Some of you only prove him right. Some of you do everything that the people be talking about. When they talk about representation of black people, and then I go in the gas station, I see you with a bonnet on and your little your shoes and your leggings. How are you representation of us? And I know you probably think, well, what do a bonnet and leggings and it got to do with everything. It got to do with everything. When I look at my history book, let me tell you something. If you're tuning in, you're listening to I Said It, and before I take it back, I'm adding more to it. I'm talking about who taught you. When I look at my history book, 3 subjects that I loved growing up: English, history, and social studies. Those are my 3 favorite subjects. I love those subjects because it allowed me to be so enriched and empowered. And whenever I would go to certain meetings to have certain conversations, guess what I could be able to say? I could be able to tap into the conversation because I'm tapped into what's going on around me. Some of you feel inferior in certain groups because you're not tapped into what's going on. See, the type of people that I'm around, we're not talking about Real Housewives of Atlanta. We're trying to become housewives, okay? We're trying to figure out how to retire before 40, how to retire before 45 and 50. We're not sitting around. I had an empowerment meeting yesterday. And it was so uplifting. It was so refreshing. And it was so well needed. And sometimes you need conversations with people that are going to speak life into you. This is one of the things that you got to understand. Nobody's going to look out for you more than we look out for each other. And I know this to be true. Most of all of my experiences that I have had the opportunity to have is a blessing from people who genuinely cared about me, who genuinely loved me. And see, when you have a person that's racist, they don't love you. They don't care about you. When you have a person that's discriminating against you, they don't care. Let me tell you something. When I go to hire people, even when I was a manager, even as a team leader, and I worked in retail and I worked in politics, my main thing for hiring people was, are you on the same page I'm on? Are we on the same page? Because see, there are some people that may You may think y'all on the same page. Y'all ain't on the same page. Y'all on different pages in different books. And see, there are people that's gonna talk you to death like, oh yeah, we on the same page, we looking out for the same thing, we doing the same thing. But when it comes down to them actually doing it, their actions do not reflect their words. I've always been a woman of a woman of action and not just a woman of words. A lot of us can say a lot of things, but what you do with those words is what makes you an expert. It makes you consistent. It makes you dependable. But if you're the type of person that do a lot of word commitment without commitment, you hinder our people. When you don't do what God called you to do, you hinder what everybody else is supposed to do. If I decided that I wanted to be a plumber and all I focus on is drainage, and there's nothing wrong with plumbing and drainage, I'm going somewhere with this. If I decided to stop doing what I'm doing right now and start doing plumbing just because it's making a lot of money, guess what I'm chasing? I'm chasing the money. I ain't chasing the impact. Yeah, tubs and toilets going to be unstopped up, but how effective am I really operating in my gift? And see, some of you all will copy off somebody else's gift, or you're the person that's being copied off of. I don't worry about people copying off of me no more. You know why? Because God made me an original. I'm not a carbon copy. I ain't no bootleg copy. I'm not a twin of a copy. I'm not a product of something else. Guess what? God made me this way 100% all the way through and through. I don't need to copy off of you. You know why? Because I get my antenna from the source. God tell me what to do. I ain't looking at you, studying what you're doing, looking at your paperwork, going through emails, trying to copy off of you. That's weak mentality. That's weak mentality. And instead of you standing on your own 2 feet and asking God, what you have for me? I don't want to be like everybody else. And see, this is where people mess themselves up. And they are not impactful as they should be. You know why? Because you trying to do what they trying to do, and God didn't call you to do that. God didn't call you to do that. You over here got a podcast. God didn't call you to be a podcaster. He might have called you to be a preacher or an evangelist, or he might have called you to be a counselor or a mentor. You over here trying to do something that you see somebody else doing. And this is how we get messed up. God may have called you to sing and do music, but you over here trying to do what they do. And God got a whole album in your spirit. But you over here, but your ministry is over here. This is why when I look at people who do what other people do, I say it's only temporary. Don't last that long. Because when you do things with ill intent, see, one of the reasons why I loved history and I love English and I love social studies is because it allowed me to understand the intent behind why people did what they did. When they invented the traffic light, it wasn't for him to say, ooh, I invented the traffic light. No, he was solving a problem that needed a solution. Now, unfortunately, we got a lot of other ethnicities that have stole a lot of our ideas, a lot of what we have. And this is another thing. For those of you who are successful in your field, you should have a program for those that are low income, those that can't afford to support you and to buy what you have. Let me tell you why. Because the minute that you start helping the people that can't help themselves is the minute that we start making real leeway. It's not the people with the money that's hurting. It's the people without it. And see, when their stomachs start hurting and they start getting hungry, guess what? They're not going across 8 Mile to go get fed. They're going to see what they can do right in their community. Let me tell you something. I remember moving in on Wisconsin in Intervale, in our little greenhouse. While we were moving in, guess what? It was some ninjas that lived right behind us that was moving us out. Literally. We were moving stuff in our house. It was a little boy. I saw him in our backyard. And I kept telling my daddy and my uncle, like, Daddy, is this guy, is this boy in our backyard? Is this boy in our backyard, right? My daddy, don't worry about that. Leave that little boy alone. Guess what's wrong with you? I said, Dad, no. It's a little boy that just climbed in our window. My dad came back in the house. He like, I just put a box right here. I just put some lamps right here. Guess what? The little boy getting all our stuff, taking it out the back window to the other men that's in the backyard. Guess what ended up happening? My dad and my uncles went right around the corner on Kentucky, right behind us. They whole house furnished with our stuff. The little kids is riding our big wheels. Y'all don't know nothing about no big wheels. I'm out there. I got a Cabbage Patch Kid big wheel. They little daughter on my bike. When people start getting hungry, when they start hurting, when money start getting funny and change start getting strange, they gonna start coming for the people that got the chains, got the cardies, got the bundles. That little girl that set that goofy boy up on Instagram for no reason. Now look at her. Now the girl that got burnt up in the back of a vehicle. And see, this ain't gonna be the first time that this is gonna happen. This is gonna be a continuation of what's going on this summer. If we don't have real ninja conversations, not only with our kids, if we don't start having real ninja conversations about protecting our people, we are going to get lost in the sauce. They don't mind locking us up, but they will take their time to lock them up. They won't think twice. And guess what they'll do? They'll make a black woman the prosecuting attorney. You know why? You know why they'll make a black woman the prosecuting attorney? Because they know that the black woman gonna get it done. But this is where we gotta pay attention to our own communities and say, do I want to be the catalyst that puts more black men and more black women in prison? Or do I want to utilize my litigation skills, my legislation skills, my judicial skills, my executive skills, so that I can empower my community? Where the workshops at to teach people their rights? Where the workshops at? These need to be continued things. This is why your elected officials, you need to ask for more. Blow their phone up like you do your ex-boyfriend and your ex-girlfriend. That's how you get stuff done. I don't care about nothing. Let me tell you something. I call these people. Hey. Oh, they ain't answering? Hey. I send Z-mails. I CCs everybody. I follows up and CC some more people. Because, see, this is the thing. You can't give up in this season because it get hard. Okay? Yeah, I said it before. I take it back. I'm add more to it. You can't get weak because it's got hard. Let me tell you something. There have been some times in my life where I felt like I just couldn't make it. I couldn't go on. Even today. Today was one of those days where I just said, you know what? I don't even feel like it. My allergies is taking over. My nose is doing something. I said, you know what? God didn't call me to do this so that I could take days off because I don't feel like it. See, you don't get to stop doing what God called you to do because you don't feel like it. What if your mama stopped being your mama because she didn't feel like it? What if your job stopped paying you because they don't feel like it? There are going to be some things that you're going to have to do when you don't feel like it. I didn't feel like going to the parent-teacher conference for them to tell me my son was failing. But guess what? I needed to be at the parent-teacher conference to know why my son was failing. Can't get mad at the kids if the grades is bad or if they got some behavioral traits that you don't like. But then you get up to the school and you confused. You know why? Because you don't get to come home and lay down because you're tired. You don't get to skip out on the meetings because you were ready for a nap. Let me tell y'all. When my mom died, it took everything out of me. Because I knew Once she was gone, and it was going to change the trajectory of everything that was happening in my world. And see, when you start losing people that you genuinely love, like a mama, a daddy, a sibling, when you start losing things that you value, not just like, you value these things, you start looking at life a lot differently than you normally would. And see, this is where a lot of us get messed up, because we wait to add value to things once they gone. Oh, now the relationship is more valuable because now that person ain't in your life no more. I had this Negro call me, y'all. I ain't talked to him in over a year. I was in love with his little fat self. Loved everything about him. But guess what? What I ain't gonna let you do is treat me any kind of way and do me any kind of way. Guess what he do? He come calling me. I miss you. I love you. You was the best thing that ever happened to me. You saw this, you saw that. I said, you must have had an epiphany. You must be missing, right, what you already had. And see, a lot of us will end up missing things that we already had because we didn't value them the first time. These boys is getting ready to go to prison, jail. Some of them ain't never been to jail, ain't never been to prison. Some of these little girls getting ready to be mothers ain't never been committed to nothing a day in their life. And see, one thing's for sure, two things for certain, is that jail gonna teach you something. Being a mom and a daddy gonna teach you something. Being broke on your knuckles gonna teach you something. Let me tell you something. When your back is up against the wall and you gotta make some real decisions, that's why you gotta think about who teaching me what I'm learning. I don't sit around with everybody, because everybody don't have nothing worth me learning. I don't need to learn how to roll up a blunt, but I bet you these kids do. What did you teach them? I don't need to learn how to mix no liquor and no drinks, but what are these kids learning? We got kids drinking margaritas at the school, taking gummy bear, weed, cannabis edibles. Where they getting it from? Because I don't know no dispensaries that's selling to no kids. And if they selling to kids, guess what? Something wrong with that. These kids are not learning things just off of willy-nilly. They are learning things that are being taught to them. So now my question is, what are you teaching? Who taught you what you have learned up until this point in your life? Racism is a taught behavior. Discrimination is a taught behavior. And these are taught behaviors from people who are ignorant. When you are ignorant, you teach what? Ignorance. When you messy, what do you teach? Messiness. I know a lady right now. She messy, her son messy. You married to mess, your son married to mess. It's just a big old pile of mess. And then you want to know why you can't move your arm, why you can't move in life. Guess what? Mess. And see, people think because they do good deeds, that God forgot about when you wasn't doing good. You're going to have to be held accountable for that. You're going to have to be held accountable, because for the simple fact that if you're causing problems in other people's lives that are not causing you problems, I look at women empowerment groups and I think to myself, who are you really empowering? Are you empowering yourself, or are you empowering the people that you can manipulate? See, I'm the type of woman where you can't talk me to death. I'm about action. And so there are going to be people who going to talk you to death, and then there are going to be some people that were about action. And see, the difference with the people now and our ancestors back then, they had action as well as the right words. They let you know, I'm a highly educated Negro. You're not going to talk to me crazy. And I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. The only reason why we were able to get the respect that we were able to get during that time, during the Montgomery bus boycott, is because money started getting funny and change started getting strange. If everybody on the bus majority is black, where's the majority of the money coming from? The black people. So if the majority of the black people that's spending the majority of the money on the bus and the majority of the people that's spending the money ain't on the bus no more, guess what the bus ain't getting? No money. You stop spending your money at Somerset, guess what? They'll stop looking at you strange when you come out there. Stop spending your money out at 12 Oaks Mall in Novi, and you will recognize where you're supposed to be. Because this is the thing. We can't keep empowering more mess. See, I'm okay when people don't want to talk to me. I'm fine with that. You know why? Because the God in me irritates the demons in them. Nobody is going to be intimidated by another person when they know they own power. I stand in rooms with powerful people. And you know what? You know what those powerful people trying to do? Empower me. They not trying to bring me down. They see the power I possess. And guess what they trying to do? Come on over here, because you got a voice. You got influence. You are able to make some stuff shake. But see, people that are intimidated by you, they don't want you in the room. They don't want you to know what you know. They don't want you to be able to move in a direction in which they moving in. You know how many people we started off with? How many people you started off with? In elementary school, that was your road dog. Middle school, your road dog. High school, your ace boom cool. And then the minute that you started having a little bit of success, minute you decide you want to be a husband or a wife, the minute that you decide, oh, I don't want to smoke weed, I'm going to just go and drink my little wine and have me a nice little weekend. The minute that you just decide, you know what, I don't want to be around these conversations no more. They're not empowering. See, the minute that you started putting your foot down is the minute that people started treating you weird. Oh, here she go. Here come, yeah, I said it. Here come Manifested Mondays. But see, this is where the game gets changed. Because at the end of the day, those very people who you think ain't watching you, they watching you, copying off of you, want to be just like you. But I'm going to tell you something about sauce. You can give it to anybody you want to give it to. It will never taste like the way you make it. Let me tell you something. My mom had this seafood pasta she used to make. And the seafood pasta salad. And when I tell y'all, my mom's not a big cook, but my mom had some home run meals, right? Y'all know them home run meals that your parents can make that it's just kind of like y'all little family specialty. And so my mom would make the seafood pasta salad. And if y'all tuning in, you're listening to, yeah, I said it. Before I take it back, I'm adding more to it. I'm talking all about who taught you that. My mom made this pasta salad, a seafood pasta salad, right? And it was so good. She learned it from somebody else. She copied it off somebody else. But then she made it her own, right? Somebody else tried to make my mom's pasta salad. It was disgusting. Had all the same ingredients. Now you say, Jaja, how is that possible? Let me tell you why. Because the noodles wasn't all the way cooked. Come on. They didn't chop up the celery like they were supposed to. The peas weren't cold. They used these little cheap shrimp in the pasta. And this is why you got to understand why your sauce and your authenticity is so important to maintain. Because at the end of the day, somebody is learning from your behavior, whether you teaching it to them intentionally or not. People that copy off of me are learning something from me. You're welcome. You're welcome. People DM me, what's that? How you get that? How you do that? Where you do that? I tell them, I got it from this. I got it from here. Or if I don't know, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm gonna say, I don't know. Somebody got me this. And I'm really telling the truth. Because you know, a lot of people lie and you ask them, oh, that outfit cute, where you get it from? I don't even know. So you don't know where you got the outfit from that you got on your body. You just don't want me to know where you got the outfit from, sis. It's okay. I'll look better with it on anyway. But you going on about your business. Because that's how people do. People don't want you to have a sauce, but then they want you to have the sauce. And see, you got to be mindful of the things that you share with people because experience is going to be your greatest teacher. I learned a lot at McFarland. One of my favorite teachers was Miss Sterling, my English teacher. I was in the 3rd grade when she put me in the 5th grade reading program. They was ready to double promote me because my reading was exceptional. I read like 40 going north. And I break down words when I don't know how to pronounce them, even grown, even at my 30+ year age old self. I'll see a word that I can't pronounce, and I will stand there and sit there until I can pronounce it. Because what I'm not going to be is an uneducated Negro. See, it's enough of us for them to think that we're all the same, and we're not. So somebody is going to have to level out the playing field and set the tone and say, you know what? I'm not going to let you think that I'm like the rest of these Negroes, because I appreciate my history, I appreciate my presence, and I appreciate what I'm building for the future. And what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to allow you to put me in a box knowing that the next generation is coming behind me. Some of y'all got little brothers, little cousins, little sisters, nieces, and nephews. And at the end of the day, if you all don't stop this mess, if you all don't get tip-top shape, some of y'all got some division in y'all families, and y'all done let all these outside voices and outside noise come in between y'all relationships and y'all families. And then now when it comes down to us saving each other, we can't even save each other because ain't nobody talking. And at the end of the day, 9 times out of 10, white people, Chaldeans, Asians, they fight. You don't think they fight? I got a friend right now. Her and her sisters, they fight like cats and dogs. But let something pop off. Let something pop off. I remember one time my white friend and her sister, they was beefed out bad. I mean, they was beefed out. Girl, that girl husband for her, my friend pulled up and pulled out a shotgun on her husband. Because at the end of the day, when you talk about family, when you talk about what's going on, when you talk about deliverance, when you talk about working together, when you talk about generational wealth, when you talk about generational curses, these things only happen because somebody is continuing and perpetuating these type of behaviors. Racism still exists because people are still teaching it. Poverty still exists in your family because y'all keep doing the same impoverished mindset behavioral traits. Everybody can't talk to me in my family because you ain't on the same mindset I'm on. You still think poor. It's one thing to be poor and think wealthy. And then it's another thing to think poor and live poor. I can't do both. I can't be poor and think poor. That ain't gonna work. So you got to make up in your mind, I deserve wealth, just like these white people do. I deserve to have a 401k. I deserve to have family vacations, quarterly family vacations. I deserve to have my children with bank accounts. I deserve an emergency fund. I deserve a love. I deserve wealth. I deserve good health. But see, if you don't believe you deserve it, you ain't gonna get it, and you ain't gonna fight for it either. And see, people will fight you because you believe in you, because they don't believe in them. You got people that look like you that will fight you because you believe in you and they don't believe in themselves. So you mean to tell me that you getting ready to use your energy to come against me and what I'm building, but you ain't gonna come against these white folks? So you mean to tell me that we can cause obstructions for one another? You can go and kiss the white man and the white woman's behind. You can negotiate deals with the Chaldeans and allow them to treat our uncles and aunties and excuse me, they may be crackheads, okay? But that don't mean that they deserve disrespect. I went off on this man at the gas station the other day. Y'all, I ain't cussing people out just to be cussing them out. He called himself going off on the man because he was asking for change. But you didn't go off on him when he was sweeping up your parking lot. You didn't go off on him when he was restocking your shelves and you weren't giving him his hourly pay. So now that he in front of your gas station asking for change, now you wanna cuss him out and tell him to get the F on? See, a lot of y'all done gave a lot of these people too much power to think that they can treat us any kind of way. These Chinese people, Asians, you get your nails done, then you look up, the whole team done left. It's a whole new family in the nail shop. You know why? Because they have mastered what it means to have tax write-offs. They have mastered how to finesse the system. They have mastered how to help each other. Let me tell y'all something. Let me tell you something. One of my Asian friends at the beauty supply store on 7 Mile of Hubble, I asked him, I said, how was y'all able to do this? Let me tell you what they do. Each person in the family give the one business owner $10,000. Enough for that person to make $100,000. They take that $100,000 and they build their business. When that business makes the profit of $100,000, guess what that business owner does? He gives back everybody that $10,000 that they gave him to sustain their business. They don't say, oh, I don't owe you. Well, I only got $9,500 or I only got $7,000. No, they give the money back that they took. This is it. That's all. But see, some of y'all won't even support your family members who are trying to do something great. You hindering and stopping them from being something great, but then you appalled at the white man for shooting up our people. Why are you appalled? These white folks are racist. How you think half of us were murdered during COVID? We wasn't just murdered because of the ventilator. A ventilator don't operate on its own. Somebody got to plug it up. Somebody got to turn it on. And see, this is one of the reasons why I look at our nurses and our nurses' aides and our CNAs. Don't get the job if you don't want the job. Don't get the job. Don't get no job that you are not going to give it your 100% on. And I know this because I've been at jobs that I didn't want to be in. As a manager at Myers, they had me at Myers over here, Myers over there, Myers over here, Myers over there, Myers on 8 Mile, Myers on Grand River. And I hated it. I hated it with every fiber being in my bone. But guess what? You weren't going to catch me slipping. Hi, welcome to Myers. How can I assist you today? You wasn't going to get, I don't want to be here. And I'm going to tell you why. Because if we don't treat each other with the respect and the honor that we're supposed to, who going to do it? You want people to give you the utmost respect, but you ain't dishing it out to nobody else. You want people to support what you building, but you ain't willing to support nobody else and what they are building. And so at the end of the day, you got to look at yourself and say, what was I taught that helped my life? See, some of you all learn some behavioral traits that have no business in your life. You picked up on nasty, dirty habits. And then the next thing you know, your children are picking up nasty and dirty habits. All it does is become a rippling effect. So if you decide, you know what? I don't want to live like this no more. When you decide, I don't want to live like this no more. I made a decision. I got to get my finances together because I don't want my son having to rob Peter to pay Paul to steal from John. So in order for my son to be financially stable and successful, he's going to have to see me handle my money wisely. But if your kids, all they see you doing is going to the weed spot, the liquor store, the gas station, City Trend, guess what? You ain't showing your kids nothing but how to live in poverty. That's all you teaching them, how to survive in poverty. And this is the season I'm in. I don't want to teach nobody how to survive in poverty. I want to teach y'all how to thrive, how to be successful, how to learn how to walk away from people who don't mean you no good, how to be okay and stand on your own 2 feet and ask for what you want in life. I have what I have because I demanded it. Sometimes they just wasn't going to give it to me. Sometimes they wasn't going to give me the opportunity. I have to learn to make myself the best in everything that I do. Because if I don't, guess what? There's always somebody watching that's going to try to take in, slide in your place. See how they can finesse you. See how they can use what you're building for themselves and not for the impactfulness of the community. This is why I don't have everybody around me, because the people that I have around me, they have my best interests at heart. They want to see me win, and not just saying that they want to see me win. They calling me, hey, it's an opportunity on the floor. Where you at? Those are the people that want to see you win. Not the people talking about, yeah, girl, I saw your picture. You doing your thing. Duh. Everybody saw it. You wasn't the only one. And see, you got people that will copy off of you and they don't think you paying attention. I see you copying off of me. You're welcome. Because y'all won't be able to make y'all moves until you see me make mine. This is the difference between an originator and a carbon copy. See, an originator will say, ain't nobody doing this, so I'm going to do it. And then people see what you're doing is impactful. People see what you're doing is hot. So they say, I want to do what you're doing instead of doing what God called you to do. And see, when you get leaders, let me tell you something. The devil is a leader. I'm going to say it again. The devil is a leader, and the devil has people who work for him. He got black women and black men that's on the devil's side. He ain't trying to stop them. You know why? Because they already work for him. And anybody that's supposed to be empowering their kind, their people, that should be the only conversation they should be having. If you having conversations of discourse, having conversations about talking about somebody, having conversations about trying to stun on somebody, or having ill intent about anything, let me tell you something. You work for the devil. You work for Satan. And I asked y'all a few weeks ago, who do y'all work for? Are you on God's side? Because see, if you on God's side, you ain't entertaining certain conversations. And you going to have a backbone and say what need to be said to whoever you got to say it to. You know what? I get that you got an opinion on that, but I don't think we need to be talking about that, because we are here to help each other and not tear each other down. But see, if you the type of chick, if you the type of Negro that sit, what? They did that? What? That's ridiculous. That's crazy. And see, this is the thing. Some people don't know you know what you know. And some people know you know. And instead of them saying, you know what? I apologize. That wasn't my intent. Or that was my intent. I'm misinformed. And see, this is the thing. Nobody wants to tell the truth and shame the devil. Everybody want to lie like this ain't what's happening. And see, this is how we're going to stay behind as a people, financially. Oh, we'll pack our churches all day long. We'll have a tambourine. We can have a tambourine war right now. We'll pack that boy out. But when it comes down to us supporting Black-owned businesses and supporting each other, we're going to keep falling by the wayside. Because we are not dedicated enough and committed enough to say, I'm going to put how I feel to the side because there is a bigger purpose. This is why certain parents can't work together. You know why? Because somebody is looking at the smaller picture and then somebody's looking at the bigger picture. One of the reasons why me and my son's father couldn't work together on a lot of things, you know why? Because he wasn't focused on the betterment of our child. He was focused on getting his point across. And see, when you are more focused on getting your point across, you don't care who you hurt. Because you want to be right. You want to be the one in charge. You want to be the HNIC. You want to be the person making the decisions, but you making bad decisions on behalf of the people who follow you. So listen, if you're tuning in, you're listening to I Said It, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. Let me tell y'all something. If we ain't planning to unite, we planning to divide. That's it. That's all. And a negative plus a positive is always going to be a negative. Check your math. You can't have negative people with positive people and think you're going to get a positive outcome. You won't. When you got negative Nancy's and negative energy and negative people mixed with positive people and positive energy, you're going to get a negative outcome. And the only reason why you're going to get a negative outcome is because negative people are like cancers. They're going to see how they can infiltrate whoever. And if you got weak people among you, you got weak individuals among you. And when I say weak, I mean easily persuaded, easily lied to. You follow whatever somebody say. You ain't cross-checking no references. You taking them for what they saying is the truth. Weak people are preyed upon. Oh, you got low confidence? Oh, you got low self-esteem? Oh, I know who to send to you. I'm gonna send somebody to you because I know how to attack you. And see, this is the thing. We want to be popular. We want to be a part of the things that are popular. There's nothing wrong with that. I encourage you all to live your best life. Do what's best for you. However, we won't win in life unless we utilize our Black power and our Black dollar. That is the only way that we are going to combat against economic racism, systematic racism. That is the only way. Our churches are going to have to get some backbones. All this prayer is beautiful. I love it. We can pray till our hands fall off and our tongues fall out our mouths. But what's going to happen after the prayer? So after we pray, we still shopping out at the white people mall. After we pray and fast, we still supporting the Chaldeans. I know God loves everybody, but they gonna look out for their own. We the ones that keep getting left behind. If these churches don't stand up for their people and empower their people for real, we will keep getting slaughtered. It is not enough for us to just come and pay our tithes and our generational and our offering. You are going to have to, in order for our communities to survive. You pastors, you evangelists, you leaders, you community leaders, whoever you are going to have to be intentional about telling your people that we are going to have to be Black on purpose. And the only reason why our ancestors were able to survive is because they recognized the power of working together. I'm getting ready to get out of here, but I want to tell y'all something. One of my favorite movies is Princess and the Frog. I know, don't talk about me. But I love Princess and the Frog. And it's this one particular scene on Princess and the Frog that's my favorite. After Tiana's mom does the little white girl dress, Tiana and her mama, the voice played by Oprah Winfrey, get on the trolley. And as they're on the trolley coming from the wealthy community, I want y'all to go back and look at this movie and this scene. While they're on the trolley, you can see how the environment starts to change on the trolley. They go from these big, beautiful mansions and houses to this tight-knit, dirty, rundown community. In that particular community, Tiana decides she want to make gumbo. She makes the gumbo. Everybody on the back porch, she say, "Hey guys, I made gumbo." Everybody come out their back porch. Didn't nobody say, "Ugh, gumbo, ugh, she made gumbo, a little kid out here doing this and this." I love that scene because for a few reasons. It let us know in a cartoon just how impoverished our people are. It let us know how quickly we are, right, to forget about our own people because we get access to the white people world. Let me tell you something. It don't matter how many times I get with our governor. It don't matter how many times I get around these wealthy white folks. I'm going to let them know I'm for Black people. We can work together to accomplish our goals and our dreams. But what I want you to know is that I'm here for my Black people first. That's who I'm here representing. And see, when you understand who you representing and you understand what you're doing it for, you ain't got time for the foolishness. This is one of the reasons why Jesus tossed the table up in the synagogue and in the temple. Because at some point in time, You got to say enough is enough, and it's time for the dumb stuff to end. Listen, y'all listening to Yeah, I Said It. Before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. I know y'all heard me the first time. Listen, I love y'all so much. Listen, be black on purpose. Our black dollar is our black power. You don't want to see no more people murdered. You don't want to see no more of your brothers and sisters go to prison. You don't want to see no more of your brothers and sisters suffering because of their health. Well, guess what? I'm going to need you all to get in position. I ain't talking about laying on your back with your legs up, ladies. I ain't talking about being on all fours with your booty tooted up, fellas. Yeah, I said it, and before I take it back, I'm adding more to it. I ain't talking about getting in a position to go shopping with your homegirls. I'm talking about getting in position to be intentional about what it is that we are doing for our people. And if you're not for your own people, then guess what? You for somebody else. And I'm going to tell you something. These ninjas is for everybody. Listen, I love y'all. Yeah, I said it. And before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. Make sure y'all share this video. Make sure y'all share this video. And if you need to plan your family meeting, you don't know how, slide in my DMs. I'll show you how to do it when you need to do it. Because we need to make sure that our families are equipped and protected. And at any given time and in any given moment that we are out here in this world. Because our children are going to be out here. Summer is letting out. Our children are graduating. We having family events, family picnics. And what we don't need is somebody who don't look like us, who look like them, right? Who feels empowered, right? To go and take some people out. That's why we need to be paying attention and being in position. That's why the Bible says watch as well as pray. Not just pray and hope everything gonna be okay. All right, let me go. Yeah, I said it. Before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. And I know you heard me the first time. Peace.